The silver key fell from Dad's jacket pocket as I sorted through his clothes. 3 months after his funeral, I finally had the courage to pack up his things. The key was small, ordinary, save for the label with faded tape, number 312. Dad was meticulous, but I'd never seen this one. "Mom, do you know what this opens?" I called downstairs. Her footsteps stopped. She appeared in the doorway, face pale. Her eyes locked onto the key. "Give that to me. Now." Her voice was sharp, panicked. I'd never heard Mom sound like that, not even at Dad's funeral. This was raw fear. "What is it?" I asked, pulling my hand back. "Lena, please." Her hand trembled. "Just give it to me and forget you ever saw it." My stomach dropped. Something was very wrong. Mom's eyes darted between me and the key. The silence stretched. "What's it for?" I asked, softer. Her lips pressed into a thin line. Her face hardened. "Just forget it," she cracked. "Some doors shouldn't be opened." She turned and walked out, leaving the key burning in my palm. Her terror made my chest tight with anxiety. That night, I lay awake, the key catching moonlight. What door was she desperate to close? I thought about Dad's illness, Mom's long, unexplained trips to the store, and the locked desk drawer. My mind spun with questions. Why was Mom terrified? The next morning, while Mom was at her book club, I searched the attic. I dug systematically through boxes of tax returns and records, looking for anything marked 312. An hour in, I found it, a thin manila folder tucked between photo albums. Inside was a 6-year-old utility bill for an apartment downtown. Apartment 312. But the name on the bill wasn't my mother's. It was listed under Claire M. My heart pounded. Who was Claire M? Why did Dad have the key, and why did Mom react like I'd found evidence of a crime? I typed the address into maps. It was a real, old brick building on the east side, a neighborhood Mom called too rough. My hand shook. I had to know what was behind door 312. The drive across town felt endless. I parked across from the weathered brick building. It looked abandoned, but curtains hung in the windows. I sat in my car, debating. But I thought of Mom's terror and forced myself out. The lobby door was unlocked. The air smelled of old carpet and cleaner. Apartment 312 was on the 3rd floor. Each creaking step accelerated my heart. Was it a hidden affair? A financial secret? The hallway was dim and silent. Apartment 312 was at the end, the door dark green. My hand trembled as the key fit the lock and turned smoothly, as if recently used. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. Dust motes floated in the window light. The apartment was small, one room with a kitchenette. But it wasn't empty. Furniture was covered in a thin layer of dust, a table, 2 chairs, a bookshelf. Everything looked frozen, like an interrupted life. But it was the walls that caught my breath. Photos. Dozens were pinned to a corkboard. My mother's face stared back, younger and genuinely smiling. But she wasn't alone. A tall, dark-haired, handsome man stood beside her in several shots. Not my father. And in many photos, they held a little boy. A child with Mom's eyes and the stranger's dimpled chin. He looked 5 or 6, grinning gap-toothed. My legs felt weak. Who was this child? If you're hooked on this mystery, hit that subscribe button now. This story is about to get even crazier. My hand shook as I picked up a photo from the table. The back was dated in Mom's handwriting, August 1996. In the picture, Mom sat in a hospital bed, glowing, with the man's arm around her. In her arms was a newborn in a blue blanket. I turned it over. The caption chilled me. Our son, Ben, finally ours. The photo fluttered to the floor. Ben. Our son. I had a brother. I sank into a dusty chair. Mom had another child, a son. Born in 1996, a year older than me. All my life, I thought I was an only child. But here was proof of a brother named Ben, hidden from me. Why? What happened to him? I picked up another photo of Ben, maybe 6, holding a toy truck. He looked happy in every picture. But in the later ones, Mom's smile never reached her eyes. My phone buzzed, Mom's name flashed. My heart hammered. She knew. The phone rang 3 times, then went to voicemail, then immediately rang again. I answered. Lena, please, Mom's voice was desperate, choked with tears. Please come home. You don't understand what you found. Then explain it, I demanded fiercely. Explain the photos of a little boy I've never heard of. Explain who Ben is. Silence. Then a sob. Just come home. We need to talk face to face. You don't know the whole story from old pictures. Then tell me now. Not over the phone. Lena, I'm begging you. Come home and I'll explain everything. I looked around the hidden life. I'll come home, I said slowly. But first, who is Ben, Mom? She was really crying now. He was your brother. Please, just come home. Was. Past tense. I hung up. After Mom's call, I searched the apartment like a detective. Every object might hold answers. The corner dresser had 3 drawers. The top 2 held clothes. The bottom drawer was locked. I searched frantically and found a small key taped to the underside of the table. I unlocked the drawer. Inside was an old, sealed manila envelope. Scrawled across the front in Mom's handwriting, for Ben, on his 18th birthday. Ben would be 31, he'd never opened it. I broke the seal. On top was an official, crisp birth certificate. Name, Benjamin Andrew Collins. Date of birth, March 14, 1996. Mother, Caroline Moore. Father, Andrew Collins. Caroline Moore was my mother's maiden name, she'd changed it to Hayes when marrying Dad. Ben's father was Andrew Collins, a man I'd never heard of. Ben's birthdate was March 1996. I was born in April 1997. Just 13 months later. I sat on the dusty floor, trying to piece together the timeline. Mom had been with Andrew Collins in 1996, then me with the man I knew as my father barely a year later. Where was Ben now? Why the secret? I dug deeper into the envelope. Under the birth certificate were immunization records and baby photos. Folded at the bottom were newspaper clippings. My hands trembled as I unfolded the first. Local boy missing, Benjamin Collins, age 6, vanished from home. The photo showed Ben, his gap-toothed smile frozen. The article was dated September 2002. 6-year-old Benjamin Collins was reported missing by his father, Andrew Collins, on September 12. Last seen playing in the backyard, no signs of struggle or forced entry. The boy's mother, Caroline Moore, could not be reached for comment. I grabbed the next clippings. Search continues. Case goes cold. Ben hadn't died. He'd vanished. I drove home in a daze, the documents clutched beside me. Mom's car was in the driveway, the house lights blazed. She was waiting. I walked in. Mom stood in the living room, her face blotchy. She looked older than I'd ever seen her. Who is Ben? I demanded, shaking with rage. She flinched. He was your brother, she whispered. Was? I threw the clippings on the coffee table. These say he disappeared. Not died. Mom crumpled onto the couch, body trembling. He died, she said, her voice sounding wrong, rehearsed. He drowned. 6 weeks after he disappeared. They found his body in the river. Show me his death certificate. She froze. Show me where he's buried. Take me to his grave right now. Lena, please, show me. My voice cracked. If he really died, there would be records. A funeral. Something more than just telling me to believe you. Mom covered her face and sobbed, offering no answer. In that moment, I knew she was lying. Through her tears, Mom finally gave a name, Riverside Cemetery. She said Ben was buried in the children's section. I drove there the next morning. At the office, an elderly woman looked up kindly. "Can I help you find someone, dear?" "Yes. Benjamin Collins. Buried here in 2002, age 6. She checked the computer. After minutes of waiting, she looked up, apologetic. "I'm sorry, dear. I'm not finding any Benjamin Collins in our records." "Are you sure about the year?" "Check all the years," I said desperately. 1996 to now. "Please." More clicking. She shook her head. "I'm sorry. No one by that name is buried here. Not in the children's section, not anywhere." I left, reeling. Ben wasn't at Riverside. Mom had lied again. If he had really died, there would be a grave. Unless he hadn't died at all. I drove back to the apartment, desperate. I knocked on the next-door neighbor's unit, apartment 311. An elderly woman answered, full of suspicion and curiosity. "Can I help you?" I held up the photo of young Ben. "Do you recognize this boy? He might have lived next door." Her face softened. "Oh my goodness, yes. That's the little boy who vanished. Such a sweet child." She shook her head sadly. "The police came here so many times. Everyone was questioned." "Do you remember his mother?" I asked carefully. "Of course. Pretty woman, dark hair. She was heartbroken when he disappeared. But there was something odd." "What?" "When the police asked her questions, she said she didn't have any children. Told them Ben was her nephew, just visiting. It never made sense. Why would she lie about her own son?" "Are you sure?" "Positive. I heard her talking to the police right outside my door. No children of her own, she said. Just babysitting." My blood ran cold. Mom had denied Ben was her son, even while he was missing, even to the police. Why? Back in apartment 312, I searched with new desperation. There had to be more truth hidden here. I looked everywhere. Then, I checked the small writing desk. The drawers held old pens and a dusty notepad. Running my hand under the desk surface, my fingers brushed something taped there. Another key. Smaller than the apartment key, labeled in Mom's handwriting, S14. A storage unit. I searched for nearby storage facilities. There were 3. I tried the first one. "Hi, I'm trying to find a unit rented under Caroline Moore or Claire M." "Let me check." "Yes, we have a Claire M with unit S14. Are you authorized?" "I'm her daughter. She's visiting relatives and gave me permission." The lie came easily. "If you have the key and ID, you can access the unit." 20 minutes later, I stood before storage unit S14. What had Mom hidden here? The storage unit was small, 5 by 5 feet. Inside were stacked cardboard boxes, labeled in Mom's precise handwriting. 1996 to 1998, legal documents, photos, do not open. I opened them anyway. The first held Mom's journals, dating back to before I was born. I flipped through entries about her relationship with Andrew Collins, her pregnancy with Ben, the joy of motherhood. Then the entries became darker. Andrew is getting controlling. Doesn't like when I take Ben to see my parents. Says I'm turning Ben against him. Andrew scared me today. He grabbed my arm so hard it left bruises. I wanted to leave, but where would I go? He has all the money. I need to get Ben away from him. But Andrew says if I try to leave, he'll make sure I never see Ben again. I flipped faster, hands shaking. I found a sealed envelope, marked in desperate letters, "Do not trust him." Inside was a letter, dated September 2002, the month Ben disappeared. "If anything happens to me, it's Andrew. He found out I was planning to leave. He said Ben was a mistake. He said he'd make him disappear, and no one would ever find him. I'm scared. I can't go to the police, Andrew has connections. He'll turn it around on me. I read the letter 3 times. Andrew had taken Ben. And Mom had known. The rest of the box held more revelations. Legal papers documented a custody battle. Restraining order requests, all denied. I found a letter to a lawyer, dated March 1997, a month before my birth. I'm pregnant again, but this baby's father is different. His name is Liam Hayes. He's kind and gentle. I'm hoping that if I start a new life, Andrew will let go. Let me have Ben and disappear. But I'm terrified he won't. Liam Hayes. The man I knew as Dad. He was my father, not Ben's. Another document caught my eye, a note dated September 13, 2002, the day after Ben disappeared. Liam wants to go to the police, but I can't. Andrew's father donated to the mayor's campaign. The judge who denied my restraining order played golf with him. They'll never believe me over him. Liam said Andrew made him disappear. He begged me to fight, but I'm paralyzed with fear. If I fight and lose, I'll lose everything, including Lena. So Dad, Liam, had known Ben was taken and wanted to help. But they were both too afraid of Andrew's power to act. I sat there, surrounded by evidence of my mother's terror and my father's helplessness. I understood why she'd lied my whole life, she'd been protecting me. For 3 days, I was paralyzed. I spent hours reading every document. The horrifying picture emerged. Andrew Collins was wealthy, connected, and ruthless. When Mom tried to leave, he threatened to destroy her. When she fought custody, he used his connections to make her lose. When she kept fighting, he made Ben disappear. The police found nothing. Andrew had played the devastated father. Mom was too scared to accuse him without proof. The apartment was her secret base to store evidence and plan. But years passed with no trace of Ben. Eventually, she focused on protecting me. She married Liam, moved, and changed her name. She hid everything about Ben, terrified Andrew might take me too. On the 4th day, I sent my DNA to an ancestry website. If Ben was alive, I might find him. The results would take 2 weeks. 12 days later, my DNA results were ready. I opened the app, scrolling past the ethnicity to the relative matches. 4th on the list, my heart stopped. Ben Moore, 31 years old, 25% DNA shared. Predicted relationship, half-sibling. Ben was alive, and he used Mom's maiden name. My hand shook as I typed a message. Hi. I think I'm your sister. My name is Lena Hayes. Our mother is Caroline Moore. I found her secret apartment and I've been searching for you. Please, if you see this, write back. I hit send. 3 days of obsessive waiting passed. On the 4th day, a response appeared. We need to talk. But not through this app. Here's my number. Call me. And Lena, you're not safe. I'll explain when we talk. You're not safe. I dialed the number, trembling. A man's voice answered. Lena? Ben? My voice cracked. Yeah. It's me. We need to meet. In person. Today if possible. Okay. Where? He gave me an address, a public coffee shop. One more thing, Ben said tightly. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Not Mom. Not anyone. I'll explain why when I see you. The coffee shop was busy. I spotted Ben immediately. He looked just like the photos, older. Same dark hair, dimpled chin, eyes like Mom's. He stood when he saw me. You look like her, he said. Like Mom. So do you. We sat down. Ben spoke first. I've been searching for you for years, he said. But Mom hid you well. Changed her name, moved. I couldn't find any record of Caroline Moore having another child. She was protecting me, I said. From Andrew. Ben's expression darkened. So you know about him? I found Mom's journals. Everything. I leaned forward. Ben, what happened? Where have you been for 29 years? He took a deep breath, and the story spilled out. Andrew took him that day in 2002, saying they were going on a trip. By the time Ben realized, they were 3 states away. Andrew changed Ben's name, enrolled him in school, and told everyone his mother had abandoned them. For years, Ben believed it. At 16, he found old photos and started questioning. Andrew had remarried and had stepchildren. Ben felt trapped. When I turned 18, I took off, Ben said. Changed my name back to Moore. Started searching for her. It took me 3 years to find her. My heart clenched. You found Mom? When? 4 years ago. Wait. I struggled to process this. You found Mom 4 years ago? Does that mean we've been in contact? Yes. Ben's expression was pained. She made me promise not to reach out to you. She was terrified Andrew would find out about you if I showed up. I sat back, stunned. And she kept that secret from me, even now. She's just scared, Ben said quietly. She told me she was going to tell you everything eventually, that she couldn't keep lying. But she was waiting for the right moment. He swallowed hard. Why did you say I'm not safe? I asked. Ben's face hardened. Because Andrew knows about you now. He hired a private investigator to track me after I reconnected with Mom. The investigator found records of you. Andrew knows you exist. Ice flooded my veins. What does that mean? It means the man who kidnapped me knows he has another child from her. And he's not the type to let that go. Ben showed me a photo on his phone. This was taken outside your apartment 2 days ago. The photo showed a man in a dark car, watching my building. Andrew is watching you, Lena. Based on how he treated Mom, his intentions are not good. We need to go to the police, I said. With what evidence? Ben countered. Everything Mom saved proves he took me 29 years ago. The statute of limitations on kidnapping is 7 years. We can't legally touch him for that. Then what do we do? Ben leaned forward. We find proof of what he's doing now. The harassment, the stalking. Mom kept meticulous records, but they're scattered. We need to compile everything and build a case that will actually stick. We spent the next week working, going through every box. We organized documents, building a timeline of Andrew's abuse. I found legal papers I'd missed, custody documents from 2001. The judge's name, Judge Richard Morrison, caught my eye. A quick search revealed Morrison had retired after being investigated for accepting campaign donations that influenced rulings. Look at this, I said. Andrew's father donated $50,000 to Morrison's re-election campaign in 2000. A year before Mom's custody case. Ben's eyes widened. That's corruption. Actual proof the court was biased. We kept digging. I found bank records, a $20,000 payment from Andrew's account to Morrison's campaign fund just a week before Mom's restraining order was denied. He bought the judge, I whispered. He bought his way out of everything, Ben said bitterly. That evening, I drove to the park where Dad used to take me. I sat on a bench and thought about the whole story. I understand now, I said aloud. Why she lied. She was just trying to keep me safe. I called Mom. She picked up, her voice fragile. Lena, did you find out about Ben? I was going to tell you tonight. I know everything, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But I need you to do one thing for me. I need you to finally tell the police everything. With Ben. Mom was silent for a long time. I can't, she whispered. I'm still terrified of what Andrew will do. He's already watching me, I said, my voice hardening. He knows I exist. Your fear isn't protecting me anymore, Mom. It's endangering me. We have proof now. We can end this. I heard her ragged breath on the line. I'll think about it, she finally said. The next day, Ben called urgently. I did some more digging into Andrew. You need to hear this. We met again. Ben pulled out a folder. Andrew remarried in 2005 to a woman named Pauline. They had 2 kids. Okay. I reached out to Pauline last night. Told her who I was and what Andrew did. Ben's expression was grim. She left him 2 years ago. She's willing to talk to us. An hour later, Pauline told us a story that turned my stomach. Andrew was charming at first, she said. But after we got married, he became controlling. Paranoid. When I tried to leave the first time, he threatened to take my kids and make sure I never saw them again. Just like he did to Mom, I whispered. Pauline nodded. When I finally left, I found documents. He's been tracking his first wife, Caroline, for years. Even now, he hired investigators to find out if she had other children. She pulled out a folder. I brought copies. I thought you might need them. Inside were investigator reports detailing Mom's life, my marriage to Liam, my birth, school records, my job, my address. Andrew had documented everything about me. The most recent report was 3 weeks old. He knows everything, I said, feeling sick. That's not all, Pauline said quietly. He's not just watching you. His calendar, synced to our old shared account, has an entry for next week, Lena, final solution. Ben's face went white. We need to go to the police. Now. At the police station, we laid out everything. The documents from the storage unit. The custody papers showing judicial corruption. Pauline's evidence of Andrew's stalking. The investigator reports. Detective Torres listened intently. This is substantial, she said. The stalking alone is enough for charges. Combined with the historical corruption evidence and his current harassment, we can definitely move forward. What about what he did to Ben? I asked. Taking him, hiding him? That's trickier legally, but we can include it as a pattern of behavior, Torres said. It shows he takes children from their mothers and uses his power to get away with it. But Ben had another idea. What if we went public, he said. My friend is a journalist. If we give her the whole story, Andrew can't hide anymore. Public exposure would destroy him. Torres frowned. That could complicate the legal case. But it could also protect Lena, Ben countered. If everyone knows what Andrew's done, he can't make her disappear quietly. We agreed. The journalist, Olivia Rodriguez, met with us and took everything, documents, photos, testimonies, Mom's journals. This is going to be huge, Olivia said. Give me 3 days to write it up and verify. Then it goes live. 3 days later, the headline appeared online, businessman hid son for years after custody battle scandal, now stalking second child. The article was devastating, complete with documents and quotes. It went viral within hours. The fallout was immediate. Andrew's business partners distanced themselves, his stock plummeted. Former colleagues came forward with their own stories of unethical behavior. The district attorney announced an investigation into the historical corruption involving Judge Morrison and the custody case. Andrew himself went silent. His lawyer issued a terse no comment. But the damage was done. His carefully constructed life, the respectable businessman, the devoted father, had crumbled under the weight of the truth. Ben and I watched it unfold at my apartment. My phone rang. It was Mom. I saw the news, she said, her voice shaking but firm. I'm coming to the station. I'm telling them everything. 3 weeks later, Detective Torres called. We've arrested Andrew Collins on charges of stalking, harassment, and criminal conspiracy. Your mother's testimony sealed it. The DA is confident we have enough. For the first time, I could breathe. It's over, I imagined Mom whispering, tears streaming down her face. After 30 years, it's really over. Ben put his arm around my shoulder. She did it, he said quietly. She finished what she started. The coverage continued. Other victims came forward. Andrew was revealed as a coward who used money and connections to hide his cruelty. His company collapsed. Pauline won full custody. Andrew Collins finally faced the world for what he truly was. For the first time since finding that key, peace settled over me. 6 months later, Ben and I stood outside apartment 312 with paintbrushes. "Ready?" he asked. I nodded, turning the key one last time. We decided to keep the apartment but transform it, no more shrine to the past, no more storage for pain. We'd build a place for our sibling relationship. We spent the day painting over the dingy walls. We carefully packed the old photos and replaced them with new, empty frames, waiting for memories. Ben brought furniture. I brought plants. We built a space that honored Mom without being trapped by her pain. On the fresh wall, Ben hung a single photo, a new picture of him, me, and Mom smiling at a family dinner. She was part of this new chapter. "Some doors deserve to be opened," I said softly. Ben smiled. "And some secrets need to be told." We locked the door, but this time, we both had keys. There was nothing to hide. As we walked down the hallway, Ben's phone buzzed. "Detective Torres," he said, his smile widening. "Andrew's trial date is set. 6 months from now. Will you testify?" I asked. "Absolutely. And so will Pauline. And so will Mom if she's willing." I thought about Mom, about all the years she'd been too scared to speak up. "She'll be there," I said firmly. "For you. For me. For every person he tried to silence." We walked out into the sunshine. Andrew Collins sat in a jail cell, his empire destroyed. The man who'd seemed invincible had been brought down by the truth he'd tried to bury. And Mom was finally at peace. Thank you so much for sticking with this story. If Lena's journey moved you, smash that subscribe button right now and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story. Have you ever discovered a family secret that changed everything? Drop your story in the comments below. I promise to read every single one and your experiences inspire future stories. Share this video with anyone who understands that the truth, no matter how painful, is always worth finding. And if you're wondering what happens at Andrew's trial, let me know in the comments if you want a follow-up story. Your support means the world to me. Until next time, remember, some doors deserve to be opened, and your truth deserves to be told. Thanks for watching.